Hi, this is Crypto's Noob bringing you episode 4 of my post-game commentary for the Gods Unchained beta. In this match, I am playing the same Red Swarm deck that I played in episode 3 against Carnival. Today, I'm playing against Gaunter, who is playing a light deck, which brings up an interesting discussion. There's been a lot of talk lately on the Discord chat about a certain light spell called Light's Levy that allows you to take control of an opponent's creature that has 2 attack or less. So I'm very aware of that spell and that he probably has that in this deck. So my goal is to not put any creatures out on the board with 2 or less attack that I'm not willing to have taken from me. Luckily, this deck kind of plays into that, as I have my intense training buff, and pretty much every creature, or not everyone, but a lot of them have some sort of self buff or will buff other creatures. So I should be able to keep a steady stream of steady stream of 3 or more attack creatures coming out once we get past turn 3 or so. So the game has started. Gaunter has played Card Shark, the Bodyguard. I do not have anything to play. I have a Raving Fan in my hand, which is great for this deck. But at the moment it's a 0-3. I won't be able to use my God Power until now. So there's no point in bringing it out at the moment. I go ahead and choose to use my intense training and not play anybody to start with. I'm leaving myself open, but he has only 2 attack points on the board, so I'm going to take that on the chin in order to get my hand in a better spot before I start playing these cards. Blacksmith Armor is great. When he played, has a roar that gives +1/+1 to every creature in your hand. I have 2 of those guys in my hand right now, so there's another way for me to buff my creatures. Does cost 3 mana, but if you have several creatures in your hand, it's well worth it. Gaunter summons an Anteater. He's now at a point where he can start adding health to his creatures. Not this turn. I go ahead and play a 1 mana 4/4. I decide to go ahead and get the extra mana back, put the spider back in the deck somewhere. I don't need that right now. And use this opportunity to go ahead and play my first armorer to buff everybody in my hand. And I'm okay if it gets stolen. It's only a 1/1. I have a 4 attack creature on the board, so I feel pretty confident in making that play. It also makes it so the Raving Fan can be played and get buffed up to 3 in the first turn. Alright, decides to kill my armor, gives these guys a bunch of health, and brings out the spider. I draw a Leviathan Hunter. It would have been great to have that last turn, so I could have had the Barbed Hook in my hand now to hit the spider with. But of course the spider is 3 health, so the Barbed Hook wouldn't kill it. Since I'm going to lose this brawler anyway, I go ahead and take out his frontline creature and force him to attack me with this spider, or be willing to trade punches, and I have more attack at the moment. I play my second armor, even though this guy's only a 2/2, so he's a potential target for the Light's Levy. but now I've really buffed up my guys. Leviathan Hunter gets hit with intense training and is now a 1 mana 5/4. So I'm able to, because these guys are coming out so strong, I'm able to play them one at a time and keep somebody reserved in my hand to continue buffing, and also as replacements for when things like that happen. Alright, so he clears my board. Does 2 more damage to me. Yeah, I'm not overly worried about that. Light doesn't have much in the way of extra damage dealing. He only has 4 damage on the board. 4 potential attack damage on the board. And I have all sorts of goodies coming up here. It's just choosing which ones to play first. Decide it's time for the fan to come out. And my Leviathan Hunter. Go ahead and do some intense training. Just bust my fan to a 4/5. And I get another buff for my Field Martyr, who's now 5/5 in my hand. So that's a good turn as a good example of the power of being able to pile on these buffs in your hand for 2 mana. I have 9 damage and 9 defense. And he's forced to deal with it because he has no front line to block me. So he has to dive straight into my guys. Luckily for him, he has his health buff, so most of his creatures survive. I still have my fan, who'll get a buff every time I use my God Power, which is something I want to do every turn anyway. I summon some reinforcements. Pull up a Nimble Pixie and a Raise Imp. Consider playing the Nimble Pixie, but yes, I think it's better to try to get the intense training on it first. So I decided to buff my fan. And take out his Anteater while I can. And also use my hook to take out the Stolen Armorer. And again, I force him to attack into me. He can either trade his 2 damage on my god for my 6 damage, or he can try to kill my fan. Which will cost him both of his creatures when he does so. So Gaunter continues to bring out some creatures, buff them with his Heaven's Light, but he still has no front line. So there's nothing stopping me from just hitting him directly. He is forced to try to take down my large attack creatures and attack into them, even though he doesn't want to. So I'm not sure what's going on here. Seems to be a bit of a hang in the game. There we go. Alright, now I have all kinds of good stuff in my hand. I have a Portable Fortress, Frontline Wall. I've got a 4/5 Raise Imp. Go ahead and bring that sucker out. I have a Field Martyr. We will be buffed to a 7/7 played. I buff up my Raving Fan. Punch Gaunter in the mouth for 8 damage. And my turn. This time the Pixie gets the Intense Training buff. So now I've got 19. I have 19 damage on the board in front of him. He has to figure out a way to deal with that. The Raving Fan is pretty close to being dead, so I imagine that will be taken out. But it's looking like a rough road for Gaunter. He really needs to pull out some frontline cards here. He has 6 cards in his hand. Seems reluctant to play. My deck plays kind of slowly also, but as I mentioned, it's all about the buffs in the hand. He brings out the High Thaumaturge, which means he'll have even more cards in his hand, because it makes a sacrifice, take out my Raving Fan, and takes a shot at the Martyr before ending his turn. I draw a Red Fume Dash. Nice little attack buff and blitz. Now it's just a decision about what I want to play. Got the Capoeira, so we'll get a buff for all the creatures. I've got the Nimble Pixie, we'll summon another Pixie, and also has a nice ability of Flank. I've come to appreciate Flank a lot more, especially with these big frontline walls that were added relatively recently. Being able to get around frontline can be a big advantage certain times. I decided to go ahead and buff up my second Pixie, so now I have 2 3/3 flanks. Attack with my Imp and my Martyr, do my Intense Training, and in my turn, 3 mana unused, but still a very productive result. Gaunter brings in a Scarab Swarm, help him heal. As creatures die, brings in a Priest to heal him directly. Buffs the health of all his guys. Tries to refresh her mana so that he can bring out a Cudgel. I'm not sure why he refreshed his mana for that summons. Doesn't look like he needed it. Now he goes ahead and attacks into my Pixie, kills one of them, does some damage to my Raising Up, heals himself. He's now 21. Where he was at 11 just a minute ago. So that Scarab Swarm has really helped him out. Don't want to pull up the Fortress yet. That's definitely not a card I want to have stolen with Light's Levy. I'd really like to get the Roadside Outfitter out, but I'm worried it'll be a target also. So I decided to take out some creatures, foolishly do that before taking out the Scarab Swarm, so I give him 4 more health. And I kind of realized my mistake. And I use my Field Martyr to take it out instead of hitting him directly. And do a little tag with the Pixie. Alright, now my portable fortress has 1 buff, 212. I get 1 more buff on it. Really safe to bring it out. I don't really feel a rush to bring it out because still Gaunter doesn't have much in a way of damage potential against my god. He's having enough trouble just trying to finish off my creatures, though he does take out my martyr with an archer and a wicked fae, doing some direct damage. More health for his creatures, though again I still don't care too much. I'm not going to attack into those guys. None of them have any particular powers that I'm concerned about, and they're not frontline. So I'm just going to continue hitting him directly. So there's another creature that'll give a nice buff to somebody in my hand. Go ahead and send in the imp or the pixie and the capoeira. My improviser buffs my fortress, which is kind of perfect. Couldn't ask for a better choice on that. Now I'm trying to decide whether I want to bring the fortress out. Do I want to try to get blitz? My brawler. Decide to do both. Make a last minute attack. Probably not the wisest attack. And get my intense training off at the last second. Probably would have been better. I think again it was one of those times where I forgot that blitz is not allowed to be used against gods directly. You have to have god blitz for that. So then I just made a sacrifice once I realized the brawler was going to die anyway. Now it's Gaunter's turn. He has full hand, or near full hand. 4 creatures on board, but he is not at all in control of this game. I feel pretty confident he's going to have trouble getting past that wall. He finally does summon a front line of his own, the Pyramid Warden. 2 front lines. This nasty little creature, I forget what it's called, there we go, Amplorial Sentient Shard. Deadly and front line, and when you summon it, you get a copy of it back in your hand. So I can expect this card to be out every single turn on the board. Here is where the flank comes in handy, because I can use my capoeira to attack his other front line, who is not deadly, activate the flank for my pixie, and then send my pixie in to do the damage. This might have been a bit of a tactical mistake on Gaunter's part. I think he might have been better off just summoning the shard itself, because then I've been forced to attack that. My capoeira would be dead. But instead I'm able to attack into his Pyramid Warden and keep my capoeira alive, buff up my pixie to an 8/8, and hit Gaunter pretty hard. Gaunter's down to 5 health. He is going to have to find a way to kill my pixie. Otherwise, I can summon my brawler next turn, who has blitz, use the brawler to hit the front line and trigger the flank. So that's a good ace in the hole card there I'm holding on to. There's the shard back again. That's another nasty thing about the shard, is that it can attack. So he takes out my wall. Now he could potentially use everybody to kill my pixie, but he dies instead. I talked with Gaunter briefly on Discord after this match, and he wasn't sure what happened. He thought he was attacking with his Pyramid Warden, It's hard to tell from the video, but I think what happened was he accidentally attacked with his cudgel onto the pixie, and the pixie hit him for 8 and killed him. So anyway, that was the second multiplayer time of this Red Swarm deck. It went pretty well, went very well, I think, and don't have a lot of complaints. I felt like my low card draws maybe could have been a little bit better, but I think I may need a few more matches to get a better feel for that. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.